What's up out there, YouTube? This is James coming back at you with another informative video. I hope you guys are doing well out there on this beautiful, warm midweek Wednesday. Look here. Meet Scott Michael Hanna, a 30-year-old racist white identity extremist incel. Okay? On the heels of the beatdown that took place in Cincinnati at the Jazz Festival downtown, I guess Scott didn't like what he saw. So what Scott did was got his dumb ass online and put a post up about let's kill 30,000 N-words. You understand what I'm saying? And they should be basically deceased by Sunday. 30,000 N-words, okay? This is what this got online and said. And as a result of that, the FBI paid his dumb ass a visit and they put him under arrest. Okay, let's check out the video and then we're going to get into this article. Check this out.
First tonight at 11, a Dayton man is in custody after sharing a tweet threatening to kill 30,000 people.
30-year-old Scott Michael Hanna was arrested this morning by the FBI and appeared in court this afternoon. 2 News reporter Evan Bales is live in the newsroom after talking with some neighbors about what happened. Evan?
Brooke, Jack Hanna is facing 5 years in prison for a tweet put out on X yesterday, and he's charged with making an interstate communication with a threat to injure. The FBI showed up this morning after that tweet caught their attention.
Called me and said, "You won't believe it, but the police are out here."
This is the scene that greeted Scott Michael Hanna's neighbors. Federal agents surrounding his home, shouting for him to surrender himself to the police. All of this stemmed from a racially charged tweet, with Hanna claiming he was going to gather a mob and kill thousands of black people, saying they were going to fill the morgues and by Sunday have killed 30,000. Cincinnati police reported the post to the FBI, who reached out to local law enforcement, saying Hanna had a history with them. In a prior incident in September of 2024, Hanna used a sword to strike a woman in the neck, resulting in serious injury and what police called a partial decapitation. When approached by officers, he became irate, yelling and calling one of them a racial slur. On Friday, the FBI released a statement saying in part, quote, "The FBI aggressively investigates those who threaten our communities with violence. Threats like this impact the entire community and have serious consequences," end quote. Neighbors I spoke with said it's scary what happened and they hope Hanna can get the help he needs. Another neighbor who has lived here for years says the police have been to Hanna's unit 3 times in the last year.
I'm not surprised based on the unit and based on just like the recent history, but you know, one bad seed doesn't make the whole neighborhood terrible, you know.
Now, Hanna did not enter a plea in court today and is scheduled to appear next on August 13th for a preliminary hearing. Live in the newsroom, Evan Bales, 2 News.
Okay, so what I want to know is this. Why is Hanna ass out anyway? Okay? He literally attempted to murder a woman by trying to chop her head off. Okay? Attempted murder all day. Anytime you take a sword, a knife to anything or anybody's neck, that's what you're trying to do, okay? But he's out to make threats online about killing 30,000 N-words, because that was his, that's what he said. You see what I mean? Now, to get a little further into detail with this article right here, of course, we know it says Dayton man arrested after allegedly threatening to organize mobs to kill 30,000 by Sunday. And they was being a bit generous as to what the subhuman piece of shit said, and what have you. Now, they say this content is graphic, so viewer discretion is advised, okay? Dayton, Ohio, WDTN, a local man is in custody after allegedly making threats to kill thousands in Cincinnati. FBI Cincinnati alleges Scott Michael Hanna, 30 of Dayton, made a social media post on X Thursday, July 31st, according to Cincinnati FBI. Hanna posted that he wanted to organize mobs to kill people in Cincinnati, where he was aiming to kill 30,000 by Sunday. The FBI aggressively investigated those who threatened our communities with violence, said Alina Latorla. Latorla. special agent in charge at FBI Cincinnati. Threats like this impact the entire community and have serious consequences. And you better know it. You understand what I'm saying? Because here's the deal. What Scott Michael Hanna is trying to do is get other people of his race messed up. And they ain't even got nothing to do with it. Just because they putting other black people on alert. You know, a lot of folks ain't going for this right here. You see what happened down there, you know, in Cincinnati. You know, at downtown at the so-called Cincinnati Brawl and all that kind of. You see what happened there. You just keep poking the bear and you don't know when to quit. You can't win this fight, but you won't stop. But hey, if you think you crying now, you ain't seen none yet. My advice be to all racist white identity extremists, incels, better check your perimeter and watch your mouth and stop with all of these threats and stop with all these attacks. And then that way, when you try to carry out your attack, you don't wind up crying the victim, because that's all you seem to do. Okay, and then the judicial system want to cover up for you, just like they talking about he needs help. This man needs help. What kind of help? What kind of help do we need? I can guarantee you ain't helping him by after he's tried to murder somebody, attempted murder, and let him out. This was just last year, 2024. He's out. That he, you know, from where he tried to chop some chick head off, and he's out. That's not giving him help. I know what help he needs, but y'all ain't ready for what I got to tell you. But he gonna get that kind of help. He keep it up. Now they continue. Cincinnati police said by the FBI to have reported Hanna's alleged post to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force, which allowed the FBI to reportedly track the post to him. Allegedly, Hanna is known to law enforcement because of a menacing incident that reportedly occurred in September 2024. We're coming up on a year now, okay? Hanna allegedly threatened two police that he was going to cut someone's head off, okay? In that instance, Hanna allegedly swung a sword at someone's neck, which caused what the FBI described as a partial decapitation. You playing with people like this? No, you can't play with folks like this. He told you what he was going to do and he carried it out. He attempted to carry it out. And he's out to be online making posts about killing 30,000 N-words. Okay? Nah. Now here it goes on to say Hanna's neighbors say federal agents surrounded his home on Friday, shouting for him to surrender himself to authorities. One neighbor has lived in the area for years and says police have been to Hanna's unit 3 times in the last year. See, the dude's problematic, okay? I'm not surprised based on the unit and based on the recent history, said the neighbor. But one bad seed doesn't make the whole neighborhood terrible. You know, question. WDTN was in court for Hanna's initial court appearance. 2 News learned in court that Hanna is charged with 1 count of interstate communications with a threat to injure. Well, look, that's beyond a threat to injure. He said kill. See, already making excuses for this low life as it goes on. See, I can tell you how this is going to end if you let him out. I can tell you how this is going to end. Okay? In conclusion here, if found guilty, the 30-year-old could face a maximum of 5 years in prison with a 3 years supervised release, up to $250,000 fine, forfeiture, and restitution. Hanna will be back in court August 13th for a preliminary hearing. Okay? Look, you can't play with people like this. You cannot play with people like this. He told the police that he was going to chop somebody's head off, and he carried it out. He attempted to do it, which was attempted murder, and they slapped him on the wrist, allowed him to go home so he can get on here and make more threats to kill 30,000 N-words by Sunday, because he couldn't stand to see one of his type of folks get his ass whooped from a fight that he started, okay? What you need to understand, Hanna, is this. That guy started that fight down there, and he got his ass handed to him as a result of that. Look what you starting. What you think gonna happen to you? What you think gonna happen to you? Fake ass, carrot top, wannabe Joker type. You know what I'm saying? These type. You know what you got to do with folks like this. You already know what it is. I ain't gonna say it. You know what you got to do with them. Because they ain't gonna stop until you do it. And that's just what it is. That's all I got on this particular video, people. I want you guys to tell me what you think about this situation. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on it in the comment section. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. People, please remember to live your life as though we're being watched. Simply because we are. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.